Welcome back to Statue Fanatic. I'm Calvin, and today we're going to take a look at a piece from Pop Culture Shock. This is of RoboCop, of course, from the 1987 movie that was released. Interestingly enough, I have a pretty cool and neat connection to this particular statue and the movie itself, for that matter. I was back in 1986. I was living and working in Dallas downtown, and I happened to be working in the building that they filmed a lot of the scenes. And it was pretty neat that I got to meet a few of the people that were working on the movie. And of course, the movie came out. It was a huge hit. And for me, what was really cool was being able to sit in a theater and, be able to point out the scenes that I got to see actually being filmed. And that was pretty neat. Another cool thing about the movie is, for me, I mentioned that I am a really big Universal Monsters fan. And for me, the way that I saw this movie from the time that it first came out was that it was a modern day Frankenstein movie. You could actually watch this movie and watch the entire classic movie play out in this. And of course, along with all of the cultural and social overtones of the classic movie, this movie had some of the same ethical questions and things that people pondered. So that was pretty cool. Now, enough about the movie. Let's move on to reviewing the statue. And what we'll do here is we'll take a look at the box, the packaging like we always do, and then we'll get into the statue and look at the pose, the design, look at the paint application, that type of stuff. And at the end, I'll give you my opinion as usual and rate the piece. So without further ado, let's get started with the boxing. So here we go. This is the box that it came in. What struck me about this right off the bat was how small it was. And not only when it comes to displaying statues is space a concern, but what the hell do you do with all the boxes that you get as well? And it's really cool that a company was able to put a statue of this size into a box this small. I know I'm running out of space. I've got more spaces for statues than boxes. But this is really cool to see a company decide to make the box small enough to fit such a large piece in, and then the piece still arrive in excellent condition, and the box is also in excellent condition. So I was really happy about that. I ended up picking this statue up from Sideshow during the holiday season, and they had a great sale going on. So I ended up getting the regular edition from Sideshow. But looking at the box, it has a bust of the statue itself. It looks really nice. And the same thing on the side, it shows this particular pose. This is the regular edition pose of it. And then if you turn it around, has a larger part of his body on the back of the box. Pretty neat box. I like the artwork on it. Has the edition size on the bottom. And what also came in the box was a certificate of authenticity from a Pop Culture Shock. And this says 318 of 600. That's pretty interesting too, because on the website, Pop Culture Shock PCS's website, it says that the edition size is to be determined both for the regular edition and the exclusive edition. And also on Sideshow's website, they don't give an actual edition size either, but I'm assuming it's going to be 600 based on this certificate of authenticity. And that, my friend, that's the box. And I'll talk more about that when we get to the rating. Now, let's take a look at the actual statue. The statue stands about 23 inches tall, and it's about 18 inches, about 17 and a half inches long if you have the regular edition and you're displaying him this way. From his hands to the tip of the gun, it's about 17 and a half inches. And I think if you have the other edition where he has his hand up, he is roughly 12 inches across. But I don't have that edition, so this one here won't even fit in a DTOF. And I think the other edition will fit in a DTOF if you have the one where the gun is pointed up. This pose is seen several times in the movie. For example, if you take a look at this scene where he is on the gun range shooting, you'll see him in this pose. And also, if you take a look at the scene where he's in the shootout with the drug dealers, you see this stance a lot. So let's start with the pose, the design, and the sculpt of the figure. And we'll start with the portrait. I like the portrait a lot. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. I like that, when you see his face, it looks like a real face almost. It's painted and it's sculpted really well. And you can also see where it says OCP Police -001 on his helmet. You turn it around, there is this little purple area, and I think in the movie where he sits there and this thing that goes into his brain, you can see where that part is sculpted on there. Just a lot of detail. It's pretty cool. What I really would have liked if there was another option for a portrait, the one where you see him without the mask on and you can see the back of his head and everything like that. And if you move on down the body, it's sculpted really well. Lots of detail all over the place. Everything from his kneecaps here, you can see the sculpt in there, his feet, his chest, lots of detail all around. I'm really impressed with it. I don't have any issues. I mean, if you look at his hands, just lots of detail, just little fine things, the little bolts and nuts and all those things that are sculpted. It looks really awesome. Even down on the base in the very front, you see where it says RoboCop, and you have the police department symbol on top of the base, and then all of these little mechanisms and things that fit really well with the statue itself that's all around the base. No issues whatsoever. I mean, the gun is sculpted really well. And then if you take a look behind here on his calves, these little hydraulic looking things here, they actually come off, and you have to be really careful putting them back on. I thought at first you just put them all the way in there and they're flush, but then there's some instructions that come with it that tell you not to do that and that they're not supposed to be flush with it. And they fit very securely on there. Just keep that in mind. As far as the paint application is concerned, now in this room, it looks great, fantastic. And the pictures that I've been showing, I took those pictures in natural lighting because with all of the different color lights and things in here, it was very difficult to get a really good picture of this where the coloring, the lights in the room didn't distort the coloring of the actual piece itself. But interestingly enough, when I took it outside, I was still very happy with the paint job in natural light. And of course, my camera is in macro mode, so you can see details that you really can't see with the naked eye. The line work that's done here, all of it was done really, really well all over the place. From the portrait up here to his chest to being on the back part of it, all done really well. Now, I say that, but because it was outside, and interestingly enough, what I'm going to talk about, I can't even see it now because I'm in this lighting and I'm trying to find it, and I can't see it. And I mean, I'm really looking hard. But if you look at this particular photo, you can see what appears to be a fingerprint from, maybe somebody touching it before it dried. You can see it clearly on the picture. But I'm telling you, as I look at it now, I cannot see it with the naked eye. It's pretty weird that I can't see it in this lighting. And I mean, I'm not going to send it back. That's not, or anything like that. I'm okay with that. I even have a friend that I showed that to once, and he said that he could just touch that up and fix that with no problem. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the paint job. With it all around the base. Just, it looks right. It looks really nice. Now, as far as the coloring of the silver part here, it actually has sort of a purplish tinge to it, and it's very difficult to show that on camera. I tried my best to get shots that would show that, and it's pretty hard to do. But it does. It looks awesome. Other than that, guys, I think that's about it. It's been around for a while, so I'm sure you guys have had the opportunity to check out multiple reviews of this guy in the past. I just wanted to show mine. What I like to do is kind of rate this piece, like I do always. So the first thing that I'm going to rate is the box. Like I said, I was very excited to get a box that small with a statue this large, and then it came in perfect condition because we have to figure out how to store the boxes as well as the freaking statues. So I'm going to give the packaging a 10 out of 10, and I think that's the first time I've ever done that with the packaging. And now when it comes to the sculpt and the design of the figure, again, I think they did a beautiful job with it. I don't have any issues with it whatsoever, and the magnets were strong. Everything about it was really awesome. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 as far as the sculpt and design is concerned. Now, when it comes to the paint application, the paint applications was really cool, but the fact that I know that fingerprint is on there, it doesn't really bother me, but the fact that I know that it's there, how about an 8 out of 10 for that? Because that's a QC issue. I mean, yeah, but when it comes to the value, I am loving this because if you go to PCS's website, you would be hard pressed to find a figure over $500, and they are some awesome looking pieces on their website. And I love the fact that they're staying in this range. And when I looked at some of the pieces that they are offering on Sideshow's website, again, very affordable. And even this guy, it's waitlisted now, but it was listed at $318. Amazing value for that price and considering what you're getting. So it's a huge 10 out of 10 for the pricing scheme just across the board for PCS when it comes to that, considering what other companies are charging. Now, let me know what you guys think about this piece, whether you like it, you don't like it, if you have it, or whatever the case. Leave some comments down below. But that concludes my review of PCS's RoboCop. And make sure you guys head over to mcecentral.com. That's Marvelous Collectible and Entertainments.com, where you can find out the latest happenings in the world of collecting. So until next time, peace.